Good evening, everyone, and welcome. This is Professor Thayer here with you to talk about animation with Python graphics for your projects. So a number of people have asked questions about how to do key bindings. That is, if you do Python graphics with turtles and you want to have it so that you can click the keys and cause that to make your turtle move, and also to display a background image, and also how to make your turtle not look like the triangle turtle, but to actually put an image onto your turtle. So I put together a little script on a very simple rocket ship flying in outer space. You actually will visit this in one of our debugging labs. And I thought that I would just take you through the working version of this code because it does illustrate how to do a number of these things. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I think we'll start with actually just seeing what the code does, and then we can go back and pull out what actually is going on with the code. So this is my code. I'm just going to do run module right now, and we see that it is opening up a turtle graphics window, and we can see there goes the spaceship flying by. And then it's going to put that spaceship back in the middle. And now I can go to my arrow keys and I can manually control the movement of the rocket by clicking on these keys. So as you can see, this is kind of simple, but it's kind of cute, and you may find this to be useful for what it is that you wish to do. So let's put this down now that you've seen that animation. Let's see how we can actually do this. I'll just put this up full screen for you. So we're going to be working with the turtle. We also are going to need to import OS, which we will talk about when we do the file input and output. And also I am using the time module. So these do need to be available on your computer. So if you have the standard Python, you should be able to just import these without downloading and installing them. So one of the first things we need to do is we need to define the control of the movement of the turtle. So I'm going to set up some functions that are going to deal with this. Here you can see that I'm dealing with the forward, backward, left, and right. And eventually we will be binding these to the arrow keys. What the forward and backward does is it moves the turtle in the forward direction by the increment called move speed. So we've done turtle.forward 10, for example, will move the turtle forward by 10. By putting this in here, the move speed, this is going to allow us to tune how rapidly that rocket ship is going to be moving, the step size, if you will, as it steps across the screen. Notice that, in fact, actually, we're just doing forward and backward on the turtle here. The left and right, we're going to use to turn the turtle's heading to various directions, to various degrees. So when we do the turtle.left, it will turn the turtle's heading to the left, and turtle.right will turn it to the right. If you want to review these, you can do this just with your turtle by simply opening a turtle canvas and doing a turtle.forward, turtle.left to refresh your memory on how those work. But it's that part is fairly simple. So then what we're going to do is we're going to, in fact, actually set up our particular turtle screen. So normally when we're drawing on the canvas, we don't actually create the screen object because we're just drawing right on the canvas itself. But this is an example of working with object-oriented programming, and by causing your canvas to become a particular screen, a screen object, that means we will now have editable attributes that are available for the screen. And one of those attributes is going to be the background picture. And this is part of why we are doing this screen. So I've simply selected the variable called screen equals turtle.screen. So now your canvas has been turned into a screen object. Also, I have selected an image here. This is actually my rocket ship. That was that little rocket that we saw flying across the screen. And this is just an image that I took from on the web, and I have downloaded and saved that. Now, it is important that you work with the GIF format because Turtles is only going to be working well with the GIFs. This itself is not an animated GIF, it's just a static picture. If you have the snip tool, You can use your snipping tool to take a picture and do file save as and select GIF as the output type, which I believe is how I actually got this rocket ship. So what I did is I saved that, and then I moved that image to my desktop. And this is the path to my desktop. Now, when we do the file IO, we will talk about what this path means. Basically, you will need to work out the path to your desktop or wherever you're choosing to put your image, and make sure that you are using the correct notation for your type of file. Again, this will be covered extensively in our file IO. So if this is not looking, if you're having difficulty with the image not being able to be found, it's likely that your path to your image is incorrect. If you are working on a Windows machine, this actually should be a fairly good path to use. So of course your username is not the same as mine, so you would want to change that. Here's an example, some other examples that may also be useful to you in terms of paths that may work on your machine. So you can see I have done this on a couple of different machines to give you some samples of other paths that may be where it is. So this is the Mac style one, and here's another one that has a longer path to if you store it elsewhere on your computer. This is also a Windows one. We recognize this by it beginning with the C. Now, that's for the rocket ship. We also can put the background picture. So notice that my canvas was no longer just the plain white. What I did is I displayed another image, which I downloaded and saved to my computer, which is at this location. So I've put this on my desktop as well. This is just called outerspace.gif. And okay, another thing you should notice though is that likely when you view your files, the extension will be hidden. So for example, when I look at the image name, I'll just see outer space or rocket ship. So you really do need to do the .gif when you save it, but do not try to rename it and make that .gif show. That's your file extension, which is probably by default hidden from you. So you may not see that. So here what I'm doing is I am taking that screen object and I am assigning the background pick. So BG pick is going to be an attribute of the screen, which is going to cause whatever you pass to it to be displayed in the background of the screen. So this is what makes your picture get displayed. Now, let's add the shape first and then set the turtle shape. So I want my turtle to look like the rocket ship instead of looking like a regular turtle. So what I need to do is first I need to register my shape. So this basically means that I will be able to use that shape on the turtle. So here I am doing the registering of the shape. And here I am adding the shape to my screen. So here I've done that, and note I'm just using my variable name image, which I have set up here. And finally, I'm doing turtle.shape of image. So what it's considering is that the shape of your turtle is going to be the image. So it doesn't actually make the shape, but it causes the turtle to display as the image. Okay, we also have screen.bg color as light blue. This is actually, you won't even see this. This could be commented out. That was sort of a backup if the rocket ship didn't display correctly. Also, you can adjust the moving speed. So we mentioned that we are going to be doing the moving in a step size and the turning also in a step size. So I have set these to 10. These are being used up on the functions up here. So those have been set here. You could tune these numbers to be bigger to make the step size faster, or you could make it a smaller number. Now we're going to get prepared for the animation. So when we move our turtle, we don't want it making traces all over the screen. So I'm going to use the turtle.pen up to stop it from drawing the line when it moves. I have set the turtle speed to 0, and I am putting my turtle to originate at the middle of the screen. That is the home. So we can do turtle.home to place it there. And now what I want to do is I'm doing turtle.back 400, which is going to move it off the screen. So the screen should be set to be from -300 to +300. So by moving the turtle back 400, it's basically off of the canvas or off of the screen. So you're not initially seeing it. And that's setting us up for that initial flyby animation. So here is my little loop that is doing the automated animation. Notice I have set an index to 0 because we haven't done any steps yet. And now I am doing, while I is less than 10, I am moving the turtle forward by step sizes of 100. So this is going to move the turtle, which now is the picture of the rocket ship, by 100 steps. You could, of course, change this to be some other number of times. Here I'm using from the time module the sleep, and this causes it to sleep for 1 second. Otherwise, it's going to move extremely fast and you'll hardly see it. So I needed to slow it down by doing a sleep step in between. You could change this parameter to be more or less to change the apparent speed. And of course, you can change this to be a smaller number and loop more times to make the animation a little bit more smooth, because this animation is rather crude. Then, of course, we need to increment our I in our loop. So we do I plus equals 1. You probably want to test this out so that you're moving the turtle approximately the number of times to traverse the whole screen. So just be mindful of the range of the canvas in your particular turtle. It's probably from -300 to +300, meaning you have roughly 600 steps. So this is a little bit overkill, but also we're beginning before the screen starts. After we have done this little animation for the flyby, then I am returning the rocket to the middle of the screen. So do turtle.home, just like we had up above, which replaces it back at the initial position. So then after we have done this little animation, then what I want to do is I want to allow the user to be able to control the motion of the rocket. So that's what this is doing here. This is actually what we call the key binding, so that when we click the arrow keys, that it will in fact do the activities. So here what we're doing is screen.onKey. So the on key means that it will do it on the event that the key is clicked, such as the up key. So we should run these functions, run the forward function when the up arrow is clicked. If the back arrow is clicked, we should move according to the down. And then also we can rotate it so the left and right, recall, are doing the rotation. So we can just scroll back up to the top here and just remind ourselves that we had defined these functions up here. So basically you're simply just providing the name of a function to execute. And you are also providing the name of a key that is going to be bound to that activity. Now we need to do the screen.listen. What this does is this basically sets up an infinite loop until you close your window that will wait for somebody to click a key, which is what onKey is going to be doing. And then when somebody clicks a key, one of the arrows that has an activity associated with it, it will cause the rocket to move in that way. All right, so that is it for this code. Just to summarize, we talked about 3 major things. We said that we wanted to have the goal of setting the rocket ship to be a turtle, which we have done by getting this image and registering this image right here. We talked about loading a background image, which we did. Again, we needed to define the screen, and here is our screen.backgroundPic, which caused the image to be displayed in the back. And we also said that we wanted to be able to do the key binding to make the arrow keys move our turtle around, which we have achieved using this section of code right here, binding each of the keys, the up, down, left, and right arrow keys, to some predefined functions which are causing the turtle to move according to those functions. And then we have the screen.listen to wait for the command to be given. All right, so now that we have looked at this, it might be instructive for us to simply just run this code one more time. Where is our animation? So I'm going to actually just close this, and I'm going to close this. And then I'm just going to do run module one more time, and we see what happens. Our rocket ship has been placed, and now it's doing that animation loop, and it flies off the edge of the screen. And remember, it's going to come back to the center, which is now just done. And now it is available for me to move using the arrow keys. All right, I hope that you have found this little tutorial helpful for some of the things you may be wishing to do in your projects and for learning a little bit more about the Python turtle graphics. These materials will be available to you on our Moodle page and in our Google Drive, and I can also supply those in the links below the video. So I hope you find this helpful, and thanks so much for joining us. We will see you next time.